What's up, it's your boy KC. It's that time of the week again. Time for another top 10. And this week is gonna be my top 10 least favorite Mortal Kombat Fatalities. This is a request from one of my loyal subscribers. This one's for you, man. Number 10, Kung Lao from Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks. For the most part, I like his fatalities, but these two fatalities involve him pulling rabbits out of his hat. Now, we can go back to Mortal Kombat 2 where he did that as a friendship. That was all well and good. But in this one, it's just fucking stupid because he pulls a rabbit out of his hat. I'm going to involve both of them. He pulls a rabbit out of his hat and the rabbit eats the guy and his head comes off. I'm like, okay, at least something happens. But his next one is even more ridiculous as he pulls the rabbit out of his hat and it's dead and he beats his opponent to death and they somehow explode into parts. What the hell were they thinking giving Kung Lao this fatality? That shit doesn't even look right. I'm pretty sure if you take a bunny and try to beat the hell out of somebody with it, that bunny is probably gonna explode before the human does. And this thing just looks so retarded, it's not even funny. And that's why it's number 10. Number 9, Johnny Cage from Mortal Kombat Trilogy. Now it's bad enough I'm not a fan of this version of Johnny Cage anyways, because his sprite looks ridiculous. It looks like he was just cut and pasted into the game, and it's not the original actor Daniel Pesina from Mortal Kombat 2 and Mortal Kombat 1. Anyways though, they did give him his classic head punch fatality which everybody remembers him for, but in this one they gave him one that's just, I can't even wrap my head around this one. He picks up his opponent and bends them like in a backbreaker position, and instead of them just splitting in half, which would actually be much better, they explode into so many different bones and ain't even funny. What happened there? What the hell happened there? Did Johnny Cage just learn some kind of special technique that if you bend the spine a certain way, your opponent spontaneously combusts? This shit is so stupid. That's why it's number 9. Number 8, from Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3, we have classic Sub-Zero. Sub-Zero, one of the most iconic figures in the Mortal Kombat universe, and also the most known and liked fatality that is one of the most gruesome things you've ever seen, where he rips their head off their body and their spine is dangling from their skull. That is a great fatality. But guess what Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 decided to do? You think it's gonna be all great, Sub-Zero goes to reach for the opponent's head and you're like, alright, here we go, let's see how this looks. All of a sudden the screen goes completely black and all you hear is a bunch of screams followed by a ripping sound. And I'm like, I was so taken out of the game after that, because I was like, they have all these other fatalities where you see all this blood and everything that's going on, but they decide to censor that one after all the other fatalities that you see in there. I'm like, come on, that was just pure laziness. Why would you mess with the player like that? When you look up his fatality, it says head rip. I'm like, this has gotta look good. I mean, it's bad enough that once you get to Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3, the fatalities start looking stupid as shit, a lot of them. So classic Sub-Zero is number 8. Number 7, we have Melina from Mortal Kombat 2 and her side stab fatality. For the most part, this fatality looks pretty cool as she's just stabbing them up and you see all the blood and everything coming out. But I can't help but feeling that it's lacking, because that's all she does. If she had cut the opponent's head off or she had cut them into pieces while doing that, that would have been much cooler. I just felt like they could have did so much more with this fatality. So that's why Melina is number 7. Number 6, we have Tanya from Mortal Kombat 4 and her neck snap. She jumps on you and she twists your head around 3 times, breaking your neck 3 times. And that sounds really cool, right? But nothing happens after that. Your head just flops around like a bobblehead. Now, I could be more creative than that. You know, how about she just jumps on you and she twists you around 3 times, but she does a backflip pulling your damn head off your shoulders. Now that would have been more of a cool fatality. But instead we got this and it sucks. That's why Tanya is number 6. Number 5, we have Stryker from Mortal Kombat 3 and his taser fatality. This is one of those other lazy fatalities that you see where nothing happens. All he does is just stretch out his taser and shocks his opponent. That's it. There's no explosion, which would have made it better. There's no blood. There's nothing. It's like it just leaves you unsatisfied and underwhelmed when you see shitty fatalities like that. And it's already bad enough that this character already looks like shit in his debut in that game. He looks like a rent-a-cop and is uninteresting and it's just boring. That's why Striker's number 5. Number 4, Liu Kang from Mortal Kombat 1. Liu Kang is an awesome character. He is a copy of the greatest martial artist who ever lived and died, Bruce Lee. With that being said, his fatality in the first Mortal Kombat and even the second Mortal Kombat was just horrendous. He does this fruity cartwheel and he hits you and then uppercuts you high into the air and that's it. In Mortal Kombat 1, they didn't even think it was a fatality because it didn't get dark, there's no blood. At least they added blood in Mortal Kombat 2, but that doesn't make it any better. Seriously, nothing happens to the guy. It would be cool like if he came down, he punched him all the way up into the air, and the opponent comes down and just splatters all over the ground, and you just see bones and everything. Damn, man, I'm sicker than I thought. That's why Liu Kang is number 4. Number 3, Rain from Mortal Kombat Trilogy. Oh my god. Acid trips, please don't do this stuff. Don't do drugs, people, because you end up coming up with some stupid shit. They decide they're gonna give Rain a super uppercut, which he uppercuts his opponent, their head comes off, then their torso, then their legs, and then they come right back down, upside down, lands on their head, and all their body parts align somehow, which makes no fucking sense at all. I looked at this fatality and thought it was a joke. It had to be. These guys were ribbing us. It had to be that because it makes absolutely no sense why they would give Rain a fatality like that. He's a ninja that can control the weather, and that's the best you could come up with. At least his other fatality, which he makes lightning come down repeatedly and makes your opponent explode, that looks a little better, even though we've seen that with Raiden already. But at least they did that. But this fatality should be banned and never mentioned ever again. You guys should be taking a therapy and reevaluated for everything that you've done with this fatality. Y'all should be locked up for like 3 months for that. And that's why Rain is number 3. Number 2, Kano from Mortal Kombat vs. DC Universe. It's bad enough that this is probably the only Mortal Kombat game you will ever see with a teen rating. And you know what that means? A lot of censorship, a lot of BS. Because Kano's fatality, if you even want to call it that, all he does is throw his opponent, jump into the air, and lands on their chest. And that's it. What the hell, man? Like seriously, if you're not gonna make a Mortal Kombat game with all the blood and gore, then just don't make the damn game. That wasn't a fatality. All they did was make Kano a chiropractor for a minute because that sounds like some shit that they would do. How did they go from Kano piercing his opponent's chest and pulling out their still beating heart to using his opponent as a trampoline? I mean, did Kano have a flashback? Did he have some kind of childhood memory of him jumping on a trampoline or some shit? Was he watching Dragon Ball Z movie 8 with Broly when he was using Goku as a trampoline, jumping on him and stuff? Did he have that in mind? Damn. That's why Kano is number 2. Honorable mentions. Bo Raicho. Hey Ed, what do you think we should give him as a fatality? What do you think the fans would like?
I don't know. I think because he's fat, we should have him bend over and just kind of blow a fart and burn his opponent alive. I mean, I think they would like that, right? Right?
Come on, man, really? Seriously? He's a fat guy that farts fire. Come on. We've seen that before. We've seen it in Beavis and Butthead Do America. Remember that shit?
Hey, you want to see something cool?
When he ate the can of beans and freaking blew out the damn fire with a fart. I mean, come on, that's real original. Cabal from Mortal Kombat 3, when he rips off his mask and scares his opponent to death. Really? This guy already looks like Freddy Krueger as it is. We already been scared to death by him, so let's copy Nightmare on Elm Street and scare his opponent to death. No blood, nothing happens, you just see a white ghost come out of their body and they just run away. I mean, come on. No creativity there, that shit sucks. Nightwolf from Mortal Kombat 3. Both his fatalities are garbage. He stands back and lightning hits his axe and he shocks his opponent. Wow, whoop-de-doo. After we seen Raiden zap an opponent and they explode, we get to see that. And then on top of that, we get the energy channel where he makes a beam of light come down from out of nowhere and it just teleports his opponent. Where? To Mars with the aliens or something? Is Nightwolf going around the country abducting people and brainwashing them? I guess we'll have to find it out later. And finally, at number 1, Quan Chi from Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance and his attempt at ripping the opponent's head off. This has got to be the absolute dumbest fatality I have ever seen in my life. This has got to be a joke. He jumps on his opponent's shoulders and attempts to rip their head, but instead he stretches their head like a friggin' giraffe. You gotta be kidding me! You gotta be kidding me if you thought the fans were gonna take something like that seriously. Now, I'm already not a fan of Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance as it is. I actually don't like the game. The fact that they scaled it back to one fatality, there are no stage fatalities, and they introduced these new useless characters that are one-offs like Movado, Lee May, Naitara, Bo Raicho's fat drunk ass, and you got Sue House Chippendale stripping ass up in the game too, that nobody gives a shit about. That's what made me hate this game. Anyways, whoever created this fatality needs to get fired right away, or at least never have them have any input in any other Mortal Kombat game that will exist from this point on. And that's it for my top 10 list. If you like what you heard, you can check out the rest of my content on my channel, KC the Most. Like, comment, and subscribe. You can check me out on Facebook by the same name, KC the Most. I'm also on Tumblr as well. You can find me on Twitter at MostKC. I'll check you out later. Peace.